After the age of 75, life can feel like walking a tightrope. Each step forward matters more than ever, yet most people don't realize how close they are to danger until it's already too late. Here's a truth few want to talk about. Nearly all deaths in this age group come down to just 5 causes. 5 health threats that don't strike like lightning out of nowhere, but creep in silently over years of small habits, overlooked signals, and good intentions gone unexamined. Many assume aging means becoming weaker, slower, or less independent. But what if that decline isn't inevitable? What if the secret to adding more strong, healthy years isn't in a new pill, but in recognizing the silent battles already happening inside your body? In this video, we're going to explore the 5 leading causes of death after 75, why they're so deadly, how to spot them early, and most importantly, what you can do right now to avoid them. These aren't just statistics, they're wake-up calls, and the decisions you make after watching this could be the difference between slowly fading or living vibrantly into your 80s, 90s, or even hundreds. Stay with me until the end, because these 5 insights might just change the way you think about aging forever. Let's begin. Reason 1. Heart disease. It's the silent killer that affects more seniors than any other condition. Yet most people don't feel it until it's already caused serious damage. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death after 75, not because it's unbeatable, but because it's often ignored. The danger isn't just in heart attacks or strokes. It's in the years of slow buildup, clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and a heart slowly losing its strength. One of the most dangerous myths about aging is that fatigue, shortness of breath, and a slower pace are just normal signs of getting old. In reality, they could be signs that your heart is struggling to keep up. And the worst part? Most people don't realize how much control they actually have. High blood pressure, for example, quietly wears down your arteries and forces your heart to work harder with every beat. And yet, millions of seniors walk around every day without checking their numbers or making changes to manage it. The good news? This risk is preventable. Small steps, like walking for 20 minutes a day, cutting back on salt, and staying hydrated can make a huge difference. And it's not just about what you cut out. It's about what you add in. Heart-loving foods like leafy greens, berries, nuts, and fish. These provide the nutrients your heart craves and help repair the damage done over the years. Even laughter and deep breathing exercises help lower stress, which plays a bigger role in heart disease than most people think. Take someone like Martin, 77, who never thought much about heart health. He wasn't overweight, he didn't smoke, and he assumed that meant he was in the clear. But a sudden dizzy spell landed him in the ER, and the truth came out. His blood pressure had been elevated for years, his cholesterol was high, and his diet was far from heart-friendly. He made a choice that day to change. Not everything overnight, but one step at a time. Months later, he's stronger, more energized, and most importantly, he's still here. The takeaway is simple. Your heart can be your greatest asset or your biggest vulnerability, but you're not powerless. Every choice you make, from the food on your plate to the way you move, either protects your heart or puts it at risk. And at this stage of life, nothing matters more than keeping it strong. Reason 2. Falls and injuries. It happens in a split second. A misstep, a slick floor, a moment of distraction. But for someone over 75, a simple fall can be the start of a devastating decline. Falls are the second most common cause of death in older adults, and yet they're among the most preventable. The danger isn't always obvious. Many people think, I've never fallen before, I'm steady on my feet. But aging gradually affects balance, reflexes, and muscle strength. You don't notice it day to day, but over time, your body becomes less reactive, less stable. Then one day, you're reaching for a shelf or getting out of bed, and suddenly you're on the ground. And it's not just the fall, it's what comes after. A fractured hip can mean weeks or months in bed. That immobility leads to muscle loss, blood clots, infections, even cognitive decline. For many, a single fall marks the moment life changes, from independent to dependent, from active to stationary. But here's the truth. Falling isn't an unavoidable part of aging. In fact, there's a lot you can do to lower your risk starting today. Strengthening exercises that target the legs and core, simple balance routines like standing on one foot, or even practicing getting up from the floor can dramatically improve stability. Then, there's your environment. Things like loose rugs, poor lighting, slippery floors, or unstable furniture become silent hazards. Installing grab bars, keeping walking paths clear, and adding night lights can prevent dangerous stumbles before they happen. Let's talk about June, 80 years old, who considered herself active and independent. One morning, she slipped while stepping out of the shower. It wasn't even a hard fall, but she fractured her hip. After surgery and rehab, she found walking painful and stopped going out as much. Her energy declined, her confidence dropped, and life felt smaller. It took her nearly a year to regain what she lost in seconds. Now, she's a fall prevention advocate. She added non-slip mats, strengthened her legs with chair exercises, and started using a walking stick, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Falling is not just a physical risk, it's an emotional one. It chips away at your independence, your confidence, your freedom, but you don't have to wait for a wake-up call. Taking precautions today, right now, could be what keeps you safe, mobile, and in control of your life tomorrow. Reason 3. Respiratory diseases. Breathing is something we do without thinking, until suddenly it becomes a struggle. For adults over 75, respiratory diseases are an often underestimated threat that can turn deadly faster than expected. And the scariest part, the signs are usually ignored until it's too late. As we age, our lung function naturally declines. The airways become narrower, the muscles that support breathing weaken, and the immune system grows less effective. What might start as a simple cough or shortness of breath can quickly spiral into something serious like pneumonia or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. These aren't rare. They're leading causes of hospitalization and death in seniors. The danger lies in how quiet respiratory illnesses can be. A slight wheeze, a lingering cold, or fatigue after climbing stairs may seem harmless, but they can signal that your lungs aren't working as they should. And when your lungs can't deliver enough oxygen, every part of your body suffers. Your brain, your heart, your muscles. Let's talk about Stanley, a 79-year-old who'd always considered himself healthy. When he began experiencing breathlessness on his morning walks, he chalked it up to aging. Weeks passed, and the walks became shorter. Then came a cold that wouldn't go away. Eventually, he ended up in the emergency room with severe pneumonia. It turned out he had undiagnosed COPD that had slowly weakened his lungs over the years. Stanley's story isn't rare, and it's a reminder that lung health is fragile, but worth protecting. Fortunately, there are ways to reduce the risk. First, get vaccinated. Shots for pneumonia and the flu can be life-saving. Second, stay active. Even gentle movements expand your lungs and keep airways clear. Third, improve your environment. Reduce exposure to dust, secondhand smoke, and mold. Consider using air purifiers if indoor air feels stale or heavy. And finally, don't ignore the warning signs. If you're coughing often, wheezing, or getting winded doing simple tasks, talk to your doctor. A simple breathing test can catch issues early before they become emergencies. Your lungs don't ask for much, just movement, clean air, and a little attention. In return, they give you what matters most, the breath to live fully and freely every single day. Reason 4. Stroke. A stroke doesn't come with a warning bell. It arrives like a thief in the night, sudden, swift, and often life-changing. One moment, everything feels normal. The next, your body betrays you. Speech slurs, a hand goes limp, your face droops. And if help doesn't come fast enough, those changes can become permanent. Strokes are one of the top causes of death and disability after 75. Yet what makes them particularly tragic is that in many cases, they are preventable. Experts estimate that up to 80% of strokes could be avoided with simple lifestyle changes and better awareness. The root cause? Often, it's high blood pressure. It silently wears away at your arteries, weakening them over years, until one day, a vessel in the brain bursts or gets blocked by a clot. You won't feel it coming. There's no pain, no flashing sign. That's why it's called the silent killer. Then there's atrial fibrillation, a common irregular heartbeat in older adults. It might feel like a flutter in your chest, or nothing at all, but it can create clots that travel straight to the brain, triggering a stroke that could have been prevented with early detection and medication. Consider Edith, age 81. She was independent, sharp, still gardening every morning. One afternoon, while talking to her grandson, her words started to tumble out in the wrong order. Within minutes, she couldn't speak. Edith had suffered a stroke caused by untreated high blood pressure. Thankfully, her grandson recognized the signs and called emergency services in time for her to get treatment. Today, she's regained much of her speech, but it was a wake-up call. She wishes came earlier. Here's what you can do. Monitor your blood pressure regularly. Talk to your doctor about heart rhythm screenings. Eat more fresh foods and cut back on salt. Stay active, even with short daily walks. And most importantly, learn the signs of a stroke. FAST, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call emergency help, because when a stroke strikes, every second counts. But if you take action now, before anything happens, you can reduce your risk dramatically. You can protect your independence, your mind, and your future. All it takes is awareness, consistency, and the will to take care of the body and brain you've worked so hard to protect. Reason 5. Cognitive decline. It often starts with small things. Misplacing your keys, forgetting why you walked into a room, struggling to recall a familiar name. These moments feel harmless at first, but over time, they begin to add up. And for many adults over 75, they signal the early stages of something far more serious: cognitive decline. Memory loss and diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's don't just affect how clearly you think. They impact your independence, safety, relationships, and even physical health. When the brain's ability to reason, remember, or make decisions begins to fade, everyday tasks become confusing, risky, or even impossible. But here's the hopeful part. While aging does bring natural changes to the brain, cognitive decline is not inevitable. There are powerful ways to support brain health well into your later years, and it starts with what you do every day. Let's look at Josephine, age 79. She used to love reading historical novels, doing crossword puzzles, and playing cards with her neighbors. But over time, she noticed she was forgetting details from books she'd just finished. She started to withdraw from game nights, feeling embarrassed when she couldn't follow the rules like she used to. Her daughter stepped in and encouraged her to visit a doctor. After a cognitive assessment, Josephine learned she was in the early stages of memory decline, but that it wasn't too late to slow it down. With a few key changes, she made incredible progress. She began walking 30 minutes a day, reading aloud to stay mentally engaged, and switching to a Mediterranean-style diet rich in greens, berries, and healthy fats. She joined a local book club and took up journaling, small habits that gave her brain the stimulation it craved. Within months, she felt sharper, more connected, and most importantly, hopeful. The science backs it up. Regular physical movement increases blood flow to the brain. A balanced diet reduces inflammation. Mental stimulation, from puzzles to learning new skills, builds neural connections. And maintaining social relationships, even simple weekly chats or group activities, helps keep your mind alert and emotionally grounded. The key is consistency. Your brain is like a muscle. It needs to be used, challenged, and nourished. The earlier you begin, the more protection you build. But even if you've already noticed signs of cognitive slip, it's never too late to make changes. So if you've found yourself repeating questions, feeling more forgetful, or struggling to stay focused, don't ignore it. Take it as a signal. Your brain is asking for care, attention, and support. And with the right steps, you can give it exactly what it needs to keep you thinking clearly, and living independently for years to come. Final thoughts. As we wrap up, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. 5 major reasons: heart disease, falls, respiratory illness, stroke, and cognitive decline are responsible for the vast majority of deaths after age 75. That might sound heavy, even a little frightening, but here's the empowering truth. Most of these causes are preventable, or, at the very least, manageable, and that means the power to shape your future lies, in large part, in your own hands. Too often, we're told that aging just happens to us, as if decline is some unavoidable downhill slide. But the stories we've shared today, the insights you've just taken in, tell a different story, one of choice, one of resilience, one of hope. Because while we can't turn back the clock, we can absolutely change how we live in the years ahead. Think about this. Maybe heart disease runs in your family, but you can choose to walk a little more each day and eat meals that fuel your body. Maybe you've had a fall or close call, but you can work on your balance and make your home safer. Maybe your breathing isn't what it used to be, but a few stretches and cleaner air can make a difference. Maybe you've had a mini stroke or seen a loved one suffer from one, but now you know what to watch for and how to act faster. And maybe you felt your memory slip just a little, but now you understand that the brain, just like any other part of you, thrives on challenge and care. You're not powerless in the face of age. You're seasoned, you're experienced, and you're capable of making some of the most important health decisions of your life right now. It doesn't take massive overhaul or perfect routines. It takes attention. It takes small steps, repeated over time, that build a life that feels stronger, safer, and more yours than ever. It's about waking up each morning with the knowledge that you've done something, anything, to invest in your well-being. So now, I ask you, which one of these 5 risks are you going to start addressing today? Which area spoke to you the most? Was it your heart, your balance, your breathing, your brain, or was it just the gentle realization that it's time to start caring for yourself in a more intentional, loving way? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below, sharing one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your voice matters here, and your experience might just help someone else feel seen, understood, and inspired. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content for this stage of life, content that informs, encourages, and uplifts. Thank you for being here. And remember, your health is your power. Protect it, nurture it, and never stop believing in the life you can still build. One choice, one step, and one day at a time.